extraordinary people. My name is Donna Fortune. Today I'm going to read you a book about the Ferris wheel. The title of the book is Mr. Ferris and His Wheel, written by Catherine Gibbs Davis and illustrated by Gilbert Ford. I love science, technology, and all things that move. I like to take things apart and see how they work. I chose this book because, like so many other people, I think George Washington Gale Ferris Jr. was an extraordinary person. What's an extraordinary person? Let's read the story about Mr. Ferris and see if we can figure it out. It was only 10 months until the next World's Fair, but everyone was still talking about the star attraction of the last World's Fair. At 81 stories, France's Eiffel Tower was the world's tallest building. Its pointy iron and air tower soared so high that visitors to the top could see Paris in one breathtaking sweep. Completed in 1889, the Eiffel Tower stood at 986 feet, surpassing America's Washington Monument to become the world's tallest man-made structure. Now it was America's turn to impress the world at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. But what could outshine the famous French Tower? And who would build it? A nationwide contest was announced. Before the TV and the internet, people from around the globe gathered at the World Fair to share their different ways of life and new technologies. Tasty inventions such as hamburgers and Cracker Jack first appeared here. Contest drawings poured in from around the country, but most of the plans looked like the Eiffel Tower, only bigger. The fair judges said no to every last one. Was this really the best that American engineers could muster? To an ambitious young mechanical engineer, this contest was more than a dare. It was a matter of national pride. George Washington Gale Ferris Jr. had already designed some of the country's biggest bridges, tunnels, and roads. He could never allow a French tower to overshadow America's World's Fair. Why, hadn't the United States built the world's first skyscraper? George had seen the elegant steel frame rise 10 stories high with his own eyes. Supported by a metal frame instead of solid walls, Chicago's home insurance building was the world's first skyscraper. Bird cages were the inspiration for the metal frame. George had an idea for a structure that would dazzle and move, not just stand still like the Eiffel Tower. Back at his drawing board in Pittsburgh, he and his engineering partner, William Greneau, measured and remeasured. A mistake of even an inch could bring their invention crashing down. George arrived in Chicago and made his case to the construction chief of the fair. The chief stared at George's drawings. No one had ever created a fair attraction that huge and complicated. The chief told George that his structure was so flimsy it would collapse. George had heard enough. He rolled up his drawings and said, "You're an architect. I am an engineer." George knew something that the chief did not. His invention would be the delicate-looking and strong. It would be both stronger and lighter than the Eiffel Tower because it would be built with an amazing new metal, steel. George was a steel expert, and his structure would be made of steel alloy. Alloys combine a super strong mix of hard metal with 2 or more chemical elements. The judges could not decide. Fall turned into winter, and they dilly-dallied. In only 4 months, the fair would open, and it still had no star attraction. Finally, desperate, they agreed to give George's far-fetched idea a try, but they would not give him 1 penny for the materials to build it. The clock was ticking. George dashed from bank to bank asking for help. But when he began describing his invention, lenders laughed him into the street. So George used his own savings and convinced a few wealthy investors to join him. Still short of money, he boldly went ahead and ordered the parts he needed from a dozen different steel mills. In January 1893, George's construction crew began work on the foundation. Shovels broke as the workers tried digging into the frozen ground. It was one of the most brutally cold winters in Chicago history. Blast! George ordered his crew to dynamite the icy earth, but what they found underneath was scarier still. Quicksand. The deadly muck could suck man or machine under in seconds. The frost at the wheel site was 3 feet deep. The quicksand was 20 feet in depth and saturated with water. Said Luther V. Rice, construction and operations manager, pumps were kept running night and day to keep out the water, and live steam had to be used to thaw the sand and broken stone. George and his brave workers kept frantically digging. Finally, 35 feet down, they hit solid ground. They planted 2 huge steel towers deep into the earth, bolted them to crossbars of steel, and poured in cement to hold it all in place. Then they carefully lowered a 70-ton axle with fittings, the weight of a mogul locomotive train, between them. This sturdy structure would hold the gigantic invention steady in even the strongest of Chicago winds. At 45 feet long, the axle, a metal rod, was the largest piece of steel ever forged. And a boy helped to hammer it into shape at the Bethlehem Iron Works. That's in Pennsylvania. As time grew shorter, freight trains from all over the country chugged into the fairgrounds, loaded with more than 100,000 parts. Workers hurried to fit all the pieces together like a giant Lego toy. Hammers pounded nonstop in the breathless race to finish. Responsible for the wheel's many structure details, George's partner was losing hope. Frequently, I was discouraged and ready to give up. But through the encouragement of Mr. Ferris, work was always resumed. That was William Grunner. Finally, with only 2 months left, the last section was bolted into place. And there stood a perfect, enormous circle, 834 feet in circumference, rising 265 feet above the ground, and designed to move with precision of the smallest watch. It looked exactly how George had first imagined it back as a boy on his ranch in Nevada. Living near the shore of Nevada's Carson River, George had often watched the water wheel turn around and around. Many times he had imagined shrinking to the size of one of his toy soldiers and hitching a ride up, up, and away in one of its wooden buckets. Still, the biggest test was yet to come. The monster wheel had to spin, and George's elegant passenger cars still had to be hung. The tireless crew worked day and night to attach them. Each was the size of a living room, with enormous picture windows and 40 velvet seats. George's wheel worked like a bicycle wheel. Both are supported by skinny, flexible rods called spokes. As the wheel turns, the spokes work together to share the weight. These are called tension wheels. On June 21st, 1893, opening day finally arrived. 2,000 people gathered as flags waved. George took the stage and dedicated his wheel to the noble profession of engineering. Then George's wife presented him with a beautiful golden whistle. George and his wife stepped proudly onto car number 1, followed by their nervous but excited guests. Uniformed guards closed and locked the door. Would the wheel work? George blew the golden whistle. 2,000 tons of steel began to turn around as the soft clanking of a large chain drove the mighty machine. Up, up, up. The car quietly floated above the mud and noise. 2 steam engines An extra one in case one broke made the wheel turn. George had hidden them under the wooden platform where riders boarded. As the car was lifted higher, everyone rose from the velvet seats and crowded to the windows. Spread out below them was a dizzying sweep of the fairgrounds, the city of Chicago, and sparkling Lake Michigan, and even glimpses of 3 faraway states. Below, more cars were loaded, and after the people had gone 2 times around and had 20 glorious airborne minutes in motion, powerful brakes brought the wheel to a whisper-soft stop. When the conductor called, "All out," everyone begged to go around again. The wheel is safe. The news raced through the fairgrounds, through the city of Chicago, and across the country. All summer, visitors from around the world traveled to Chicago's World Fair. It didn't matter whether one was a senator, a farmer, a boy, or a girl. Everyone wanted to take a spin on the magnificent wheel. Adventurous couples asked to get married on it. On hot, steamy days, the wheel was a perfect place to escape up, up, up into the cool breezes. All you needed was 50 cents. During the 19 weeks the wheel was in operation, 1.5 million passengers rode it. It revolved more than 10,000 times, withstood gale force winds and storms, and did not need one repair. At night, George Ferris's wheel became a magical glowing circle with 3,000 electric light bulbs, another brand new invention. As the Queen of the Midway made its stately rotation, so did the seasons. Soon, a fall chill filled the air, and fair visitors began to thin out. In the late 1800s, that's a really long time ago, homes were still lit with candles and kerosene lamps. No switching on a light. The Chicago World's Fair helped reassure people that electricity was safe. At night, farmers and sailors from as far away as 40 miles could see the wheel's spectacular blaze of lights. On October 26, 1893, just before midnight, the immense twinkling, spinning circle slowed to its final stop. The Chicago World's Fair was over. George had called his creation a monster wheel, but his investors renamed it after its inventor, the Ferris wheel. The Chicago Fair, or the White City, inspired 2 more magical places. The Emerald City in the classical children's book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, by L. Frank Baum, and Disneyland. Walt Disney's father was a construction worker on the fair. He told his son stories about the dreamlike city he had helped build, and young Walt grew up to build famous amusement parks that stay open all year round. I'm sure you know some of those. Visitors returned to their homes to tell the story of the world's greatest ride, and before long, copies of the Ferris wheel began popping up around the world. In 1894, the next Ferris wheel appeared in California on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Lit up at night, it was the first landmark seen by ships finding their way home. Today, Ferris wheels are the most familiar and beloved carnival ride. I'm sure most of you have ridden one. At state fairs and amusement parks, a ride on one still feels like flying to the moon, and oh, the view. Since 1893, there have been over 8 tallest ever Ferris wheels, and the race continues. The current record holder when this book was written for the world's tallest is the Singapore Flyer at 541 feet. Wow. What a great book about an extraordinary person. Mr. Ferris was only 34 years old when he built the Ferris wheel. That's just a little bit younger than my youngest child, 34 years old. That's a pretty big thing to do at 34. It's been my pleasure to share this book about Mr. Ferris with you today. I hope to see you all again on Lunenburg Storytime. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is John Fortune. Today I'm going to read you a book about, are you ready? A book about germs. Ew. Over the past year and a half, we've spent a lot of time thinking about germs. You don't remember? What about every time you put on one of these? What about every time you saw somebody with one of these? Or someone using one of these? Or every time you put some of this on your hands? Yes, over the past year and a half, we spent a lot of time thinking about germs. Why are we so concerned about germs? Because germs make you sick. Actually, that's the name of the book. Germs Make Me Sick. Let's learn more about these little creatures. Germs Make Me Sick by Melvin Berger and illustrated by Marilyn Hafner. So let's read our story. You wake up one morning and you don't feel like getting out of bed. Your arms and legs ache, your head hurts, you have a fever, and your throat is sore. I'm sick, you say. I must have caught a germ. Everyone knows that germs make you sick, but not everyone knows how. Germs are tiny living things. They are far too small to see with your eyes alone. In fact, a line of 1,000 germs could fit on the top of a pencil. There are many different kinds of germs, but the two that usually make you sick are bacteria and viruses. Under a microscope, some bacteria look like little round balls. Others are straight as rods. Still others are twisted in spiral shapes. Viruses are far tinier than bacteria. Some look like balls with spikes sticking out on all sides. That's what the coronavirus looked like that we've been talking about over the past year. Others look like loaves of bread or even little tadpoles. There are even some that look like metal screws with spider legs. Germs, such as bacteria and viruses, are found everywhere. They are in the air you breathe, in the food you eat, in the water you drink, and on everything you touch. They are even on your skin and in your body. Although germs are all around, they don't always make you sick. Many germs are not harmful at all. Also, your body keeps out harmful germs most of the time. Your skin blocks the germs. As long as there are no cuts or scratches on your skins, germs can't get in. Your nose helps too. It's lined with tiny hairs. These hairs catch many of the germs you breathe in. They push them back out. The inside of your mouth and throat is always wet. Germs often get stuck there. They don't go any further. Yet some germs do slip in every once in a while. Your friend has a cold. She sneezes. Germs fly out. You breathe the air. Some of her germs may get into your lungs. You take a sip of your cousin's soda. Her germs are on the straw. A few of the germs may get into your stomach. You're riding a bike. You fall and scrape your knee. Germs from the ground may get under your skin. But even when harmful bacteria and viruses get into your body, you don't always get sick. That's because your body has ways to fight germs. The white cells in your blood go after any germs that sneak in. Usually, these cells kill those germs before they can do any harm. Your body also has special proteins that attack germs. They are called antibodies. The white blood cells and antibodies don't always get rid of the germs, though. Some germs stay in the body and do make you sick. What if the germs in your body are bacteria? They quickly start to multiply. Each one becomes 2 new bacteria, then they become 4, and so on and so on. In a few hours, there may be millions of bacteria in your body. The bacteria give off waste products. Some of these wastes are poisons to your body. The poisons can damage or destroy the cells that make up your body. When enough cells are harmed, you start to feel sick. You may have pains and aches and run a fever or break out in a rash. You may cough or sneeze or even throw up. These signs tell you that cells are being damaged or destroyed in your body. Some bacteria give off poisons that stay close to bacteria. Bacteria in your mouth are like that. The poison attacks only your teeth and causes cavities. It does not go any other place in your body. It stays right there. Earaches and boils on the skin can also be caused by bacteria where poisons stay in one place. There are many different types. Other bacteria give off poisons that move around your body. One kind of bacteria lives in the lungs, but it gives off poison that are carried around in your blood. This bacteria may give you a headache or a sore stomach, or both. Still, other bacteria have poisons on their outer coats. When they touch different cells, their poisons destroy or hurt them. As the cells die, again, you begin to feel sick. What if a virus gets into your body? Viruses are different than bacteria. They don't give off poisons. Each virus forces its way into a body cell. It disappears inside. For a while, nothing seems to be happening. Then, suddenly, the viruses break out of the cell. Hundreds of new viruses tumble out. Each virus finds another cell and digs its way in. Then these cells pop open and more viruses pour out. Soon, there are 1 million of viruses in your body. These viruses spread all out. As they do, you feel worse and worse. Viruses bring you colds and the flu, measles, mumps, chickenpox, and lots of other illnesses like the coronavirus that we've dealt with over the past year and a half. Though bacteria and viruses can make you sick, you usually begin to feel better in a day or two because your body is strong enough to beat back all the germs. At times, though, you do feel sick or you stay sick for days. Then you should see a doctor. Doctors try to find out why germs are making you so sick. What hurts, they ask. Let's take a look. Perhaps they swab your throat with cotton, or then they send the cotton with the germs to the lab, or they may take a few drops of blood from your fingertip or arm. That also goes to a lab to be tested. Your doctor gets a report from the lab. It tells whether the germs are bacteria or viruses. If bacteria are making you sick, the doctor usually prescribes some drug. The drug will either kill the bacteria or stop them from growing. Doctors do not yet have drugs to cure diseases caused by viruses, but they can give you shots to prevent some of these diseases, like we've gotten recently with coronavirus, the vaccine that we've heard so much about. If you do get sick with a virus, the doctor may give you some medicine anyways. It won't cure you, but it might help you just feel better or protect you against bacteria that might also make you sicker. When germs make you sick, your doctor might tell you to stay in bed. Bed rest makes it easier for your body to fight the germs. So do eating and drinking healthy foods and drinks. Once you are well, you'll want to stay that way. There are lots of ways to keep healthy. Here are some simple rules for staying healthy. Stay away from anybody with a cold or a flu. Wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds to make sure you get rid of the germs. Eat good, healthy foods. Brush your teeth after your meals. Get plenty of rest. Do some kind of exercise every day. Visit your doctor or dentist regularly for your checkups. And be sure to get the shots that you need. Germs do make you sick sometimes, but you can help yourself be fit as a fiddle all the rest of the time. It's kind of an amazing book. Germs are so small, A line of 1,000 could fit on the tip of a pencil. Wow, they are small. Bacteria and viruses are found everywhere. They are all around. However, there is good news. Many germs you encounter are not harmful, and your body also rejects some, which is why we are not sick all the time. Let's remember the rules for good health. Stay away from sick people, wash your hands, eat good, healthy foods, brush your teeth after meals, get plenty of rest, do some kind of exercise every day, visit the doctor and dentist regularly, and be sure to get the shots you need. Yes, germs can make you sick, so let's stay healthy by following these simple rules. Thank you for watching Lunenburg Storytime. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Lunenburg Storytime, the books we love. If you'd like to get involved and become a reader, we'd love to have you come into our studio and read a book that you love. Our contact information is lunenburgaccess@gmail.com. So send us an email today and let us know if you'd like to become a reader. Thank you.